What's going on, everyone? Colton McCade here with another video. Today we're going to be doing a video on the camera that is filming me at this very second. The Canon A6300. What the hell? No, the Sony A6300. With its 24.4 megapixel sensor and phase detect autofocus, this thing is a video beast. What can I say that's not already been said about this camera before? It does a lot of things the right way. I'm getting prosumer video features that some cinema cameras don't even have. I'm getting log profiling. I'm not doing the color grading though, because I'm kind of a noob when it comes to the Sony ecosystem. This is my first Sony mirrorless camera, so forgive me. And then we're also looking at 120 frames per second in 1080p. Suck it, EOS R. Oh, and by the way, we got an intro. Go ahead and roll that intro. For those of you that don't know, I'm making tech videos about cameras mostly because that's kind of my niche, as well as vlogs and just life in general. I'm trying to do one of each, so I'm going to do like 1 week I'm going to do vlog, camera, vlog, life vlog, something apple pie, I don't know. But yeah, that's what we're doing on this channel. With my current setup, I got the Miki battery grip. I think it's great. I love it. It carries 2 batteries. What more could you possibly want? I mean, this camera was already known to have bad battery life. Going into the system, I already knew I was going to need to do a battery grip. The more I researched, Sony doesn't make a battery grip for this, but third party works just fine. And in the same note, let's talk about something else. The batteries. You can find them for very cheap. Do not buy OEM Sony. It does not matter. I have tested 2 of the official Sony batteries, and I've tried other manufacturers. It's literally indifferent of how much more time you would get. It doesn't justify the high price cost. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these batteries and a single plug-in charger. I think it was like for 40 bucks as opposed to spending $60 or $53 for just one official Sony battery, which I would never recommend. So yeah, that's one thing for sure that I would definitely recommend to start out. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. 5 things I absolutely love about this camera. The first thing I love, which something no one is really talking about, the Play Memories app. Now, I know if you've ever used the Canon Connect app, it does a very similar thing. I came from Canon to Sony. But as far as this goes, for a controlled studio lighting, they have this thing on here called mirror mode. I'll let you guys look at the app. It literally reflects it, so this is like what you're seeing. If I'm pointing up here, I use up here. If I'm pointing down here, it just rotates it. I find it sometimes a little funny when I'm watching someone on YouTube when they'll go, yeah, smash the subscribe button on this side down here, and they're like, it's actually over here. So I mean, I just think it just makes it more videos just seem more fluid, that I know where everything is within the layout. If I tell someone to link in the description, you know, whenever. So I know exactly where I'm pointing at camera and off camera. Also, number 2. The fact that it doesn't have a flip out screen. Now I know what you're thinking. You guys are gonna, I can hear the rat-a-tat-tat of the Canon users, because I used to be one of you guys. As a matter of fact, here, I have Rebel T6i. I did not buy a camera unless it had the flip out screen. And then I also owned for a couple years the Canon 80D. So both of them, great cameras. Can't recommend them enough if you're a beginning photographer. Great stills cameras too. Oh my god. But I wanted more. I wanted to do the buttery smooth B-roll at 120 frames a second, and I wanted to do other things. But I also noticed when I was vlogging, the flip out screen, as much as I relied on it, was a distraction. I'm supposed to be looking at the lens. I'm supposed to be looking at you guys. It's a more natural connection. It's a more realistic thing. It's like I'm actually talking to a friend. This over here, if this had a flip out screen, I'd be over here all the time. Do you know how weird that looks? I don't think you know how weird that looks. It looks pretty weird, and I know you're witnessing it right now. So yeah, that's pretty bad. Moving on, number 3. I love the fact of how small it is. Without the Rode video mic, I can literally take that microphone off, put it in one hoodie pocket. I can put this camera with a battery grip and the kit lens in my pocket, in my hoodie pocket. No one is gonna give me any flack if I go to a sporting event and I have this camera. This camera, and by the way, I'm holding a Note 9 so I can like record myself. The camera literally ends right here. My phone is longer than my camera. That is amazing. The amount of features you get in such a tiny body. Now, it's not all, you know, rainbows and butterflies for this kind of thing. There are some drawbacks, which I will go over at the very end, but this is just amazing. I can't believe, I feel like especially with the Canon 80D, using it on a gimbal, and trust me, I use it all the time on that gimbal back there. The difference of night and day between using that on a gimbal and using something like this. I'm gonna admit it, yeah, my back got sore. My back got sore after an hour and a half of using the 80D on that gimbal with the dual grip. I went to Chicago as soon as I bought this camera, which I did the Tuner Evo video, and I lasted all day. All day. The fact that you can plug this thing in through USB and then have it power your camera, which by the way, I was doing it wrong at the event, of course. The fact that you can get away with that is amazing. You can literally make this thing go all day. I have two 3000 milliamp hour batteries in that gimbal. The fact that I figured out how I can borrow power from it is amazing. I love that. When I'm in the car and when I'm driving to a shoot, I can literally pop that door open, just plug it in. It's just great. I can't stress that enough. I love the fact that you can USB charge. Can't do that with an 80D. Gotta find a plug-in. So, you pick your battles. Reason number 4 is the customizability. Now, from someone that went from a camera that was really rigid and I couldn't customize it, I guess the closest I can give you guys is someone that's been an Apple user their whole life and then switches to Android. You can change everything about this camera. And unironically, I have the movie record button, which we all know is in a terrible spot. It's so hard to press from the back side. It is just indifferent. I moved it to the AF/MF autofocus manual focus trigger. When it's up and I hit that button, it starts the recording process. It kind of reminds me of my old Canon. So, you know, I don't have to relearn all the button mapping. I can do it a certain way. When I'm in stills mode, the button works as it should. So, you know, what's the problem with that? I literally have it set up just the way I want it. I autofocus, AEL. So I don't really do a lot of back button focusing. Still learning that, still trying to polish that craft a little bit. But it's just great all around. And the final thing that I really like about this camera, and I kind of alluded to it in the intro, was I was able to pull such dynamic range out of this camera. Yes, I admit, you have to bump up the ISO to a reasonable amount to get to use S-Log, but the results that you can get out of this are amazing. I've had this on 3 shoots now. I've had this for an entire day filming. I can say without a doubt, if you're not in the middle of a rush project, use S-Log or Cinema profiles. If you're trying to do a quick turnaround time in YouTube, which is what I'm going to be doing, I would highly recommend you guys picture profile 1. That way you can get the fastest turnaround time, the least amount of changes to your color, to your film, to your video. And now for the drawbacks. I think that's only fair. You can only praise a camera so much, and no camera is absolutely perfect, and nor should it. I think if they ever come out with the perfect camera, a lot of channels will die. I'm sorry. There's always going to be something that we can improve. There's always something we can make better. I don't ever want to live in a world where there's a magic bullet of a camera that'll do everything, because then everyone's images are going to look the same. And I think I've stressed this enough when people are using a certain brand because that's their signature look with film and video. I think it's entirely too restricting. I want to get to the point where, as a professional, and this is borrowing off of some other people's feelings, you can give me any camera and I will get my look. I was initially a huge control freak about the entire creative process that I'm having. So the fact that I can dial everything in a professional manner means I can get the most out of my system. I think that is entirely too important and something that is overseen by so many people. And yes, I'm talking about you fanboys. There is a certain limit to which I am loyal to a company. If I feel it is too stagnant or not innovating, I will go with the innovator or someone who is constantly making improvements to their systems. So those are the guys I want to support. Those are the people that I think deserve my money. It's just as simple as that. So that is the end of the video. If you have any comments, questions, be sure to drop them down below. If you want to, smash the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for more updates. We will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much and take care. Bye bye.